In a near-future world, humanity has gradually relinquished its autonomy to a techno-authoritarian regime that promised security, prosperity, and order. This global system maintains total surveillance through mandatory nanoparticle implants that monitor, record, and even modulate real-time brain activity. Under the banner of collective welfare over individual freedom, the regime has all but eradicated dissent, replacing the values of liberty and privacy with compliance and submission. Yet a small group of individuals, labeled the disconnected, have managed to evade or disable these implants, becoming the top targets of a state determined to eliminate any blind spots in its all-encompassing control. The road to subjugation began almost imperceptibly. First, neural implants were introduced as revolutionary medical solutions that could monitor health and prevent diseases. Over time, these implants were enhanced to help avert crime, operating under the belief that the best way to stop violence was to detect and neutralize conflict impulses before they manifested. Society embraced these innovations, viewing them not just as an advance but as the key to an ideal coexistence. Those who resisted were branded as antisocial or merely paranoid, going against progress. As trust in the system grew, people willingly surrendered their liberties in exchange for near-absolute security. Within a few years, this surveillance network reached virtually every corner, from urban areas dotted with data processing towers to remote regions patrolled by stealth drones and underground sensors. With omnipresent monitoring, the notion of privacy lost its meaning, and a new moral code emerged, one in which every citizen was expected to serve the collective good. Any hint of individualism or privacy could be interpreted as a threat. In this context, the simple act of living off the grid became criminal. The handful of people who refused from the start to accept the implants, or who had somehow deactivated them, were derisively labeled the disconnected. Dispersed and lacking a solid structure, they stand as the last bastion of human freedom. Their mere existence defies the official dogma that nanotechnology is essential to societal order. In order to survive in hiding, these individuals adopt various strategies in secluded areas where the monitoring infrastructure is less effective. They build subterranean shelters or occupy abandoned buildings deemed unprofitable by modern society. They live minimally, relying on self-sufficiency and exchanging knowledge that mainstream civilization, dependent on algorithms for every facet of life, has largely forgotten. Despite their precautions, the regime's tracking machinery is relentless. The nanoparticle implants monitoring the rest of the population provide real-time data, flagging any anomalies in the social flow. If an area is detected where there is no recorded brain activity, an immediate search protocol is launched. Silent drones hover overhead, scanning for human heat signatures or any signs of unregistered life. In parallel, the surveillance network may deploy ground-based robots equipped with artificial intelligence to map caves, basements, or forests, all in pursuit of these would-be intruders to the system. Not all forms of persecution manifest as overt violence. In some cases, the regime prefers to capture disconnected individuals alive for reintegration, bringing them back into society via even more potent implants. The subsequent re-education process aims to erase memories, program behaviors, and secure absolute loyalty to the new order. From the government's perspective, this process cures individuals who have dangerously deviated from collective harmony. The most disturbing aspect of this system is not simply the physical force but the social approval that underpins it. A large portion of the population, thoroughly indoctrinated or genuinely convinced, views the disconnected as enemies of societal peace. As a result, it isn't just the state, with its armies of drones and robots, that hunts them. Neighbors and even family members turn them in, believing they are fulfilling a civic duty. This dynamic raises profound ethical questions. Is it morally acceptable to sacrifice the freedom of a minority to maintain security for the majority? The regime's utilitarian logic asserts that since nearly everyone has surrendered their autonomy for prosperity and safety, any who oppose that choice have no right to remain outside this social contract. This conflict lays bare the fragile line between public and private, between legitimacy and coercion, and between collective safety and individual liberty. Rumors circulate among the ruins and hidden enclaves about plans for rebellion or a mass exodus to virtually inaccessible regions such as the Arctic, remote deserts, or oceanic platforms. However, these efforts collide with the reality that the surveillance apparatus is nearly global. Any organized insurrection is intercepted before it can gain momentum, and emerging leaders are swiftly neutralized or captured. Meanwhile, cracks begin to appear within the regime itself. Some scientists, engineers, or high-ranking officials grow uneasy about the nature of this enforced peace. They fear that the price, suppression, and mental homogeneity is too great. Within these pockets of doubt, in the very heart of the control machinery, the resistance could find new allies willing to undermine the system from within. The hunt for the last free humans depicts a dark scenario where the promise of a perfectly orderly and safe world turns individual freedom into a crime. In this dystopia, control is maintained not only through force but through widespread social conditioning that upholds collective ideals and dismisses dissent. Those who resist are forced underground, clinging to values that a hyper-connected society deems obsolete. At the core of this narrative lies the question of freedom itself. Is there a point at which the pursuit of safety and comfort justifies the total relinquishment of personal autonomy? Or is it precisely uncertainty, risk, and diversity of thought that define the essence of humanity? This essay suggests that at the heart of every dystopia is the temptation to eradicate difference in pursuit of a false sense of collective perfection. In the face of such a temptation, the disconnected, those last free humans, serve as a stark reminder of rebellion, the possibility of choice, and the unbreakable complexity of the human condition.